is not gold.
Directly in front of the hold that one.
And with your left there you go.
Back over, back there. And we'll go right in front of you, please.
That's crazy. Now, did you? I saw it. Just gonna go see the hustle.
The engine of the comedy of this movie is an amazingly sophisticated world is invaded by a chaotic kind of, just a chaotic presence. And so you have to make, for that to work, you have to make the world as sophisticated as you possibly can. So we made sure that Annie's outfits were amazing. She wears Alexa Chung and Vivienne Westwood. That's my favourite one. She wears this incredible Vivienne Westwood white suit with this wide-brimmed hat. It's astonishing. We made everything, look, we found the most amazing house we possibly could on Mallorca, and then we reconstructed it in a studio in London. Just had to make the whole thing feel as warm as possible. And then the best bit was that by the time it was freezing in London, we were jetting off to the Mediterranean to film our exteriors. Couldn't be better. The funny thing is, when I sort of first heard about the project from Jack, the idea of a new take on a beloved classic, Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and I went, oh, okay. And she said with Rebel Wilson and Anne Hathaway, and you go, oh, okay, because immediately you see what that is. Like, they look great together. It somehow just visually works. They have this insane chemistry. They're a proper double act where they're both funny, and they're funny for different reasons, and they ping off each other so beautifully. It was just a joy to watch.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels is actually a remake of an earlier movie called Bedtime Stories. Both of those movies featured men. They were men's stories, and we're doing the same sort of high-class con artist, low-rent con artist, but this time it's women, and I find it a little bit more entertaining that way. Well, it's a really interesting thing of how women manipulate men versus how men manipulate women, and with the women there's just a lot more sort of pageantry and sort of accents and wardrobe and more elaborate cons, and it's not just sort of guys in suits trying to convince ladies to do things. So it's just I find the watch more enjoyable. It's more of a vicarious thrill. Rebel and Anne, I mean, first of all, they just have really extraordinary chemistry. I mean, you hear their names together and you're like, yeah, that's awesome. I want to watch that movie. But they just play off each other so well, and Rebel's a very precise comedian, and Annie, it turns out, is an excellent improviser. So I think it was sort of surprising across the board how well they played off each other.